Majority tyranny, also known as the tyranny of the majority, refers to a situation where the majority's interests and desires override and suppress those of the minority, often leading to oppression or marginalization. Some call it tyranny of numbers. Those who coined it used it with fondness and pride, as they knew the selfish interest it served. We as a country have experienced firsthand what that tyranny feels like. Its manifestations can be seen in the political arena where it is widespread. Out of the 43 tribal groupings we can boast of, 40 or so simply can't breathe for want of suffocation. In the just disbanded cabinet, 8 came from a single community, and we have seen brazen demands to have the same number retained in the new cabinet. I am sure attempts will be made to extract a disproportionately high number of other appointments. Where does that leave the rest of the country? Some communities will go without. That is what marginalization looks like. All that is made possible by the tyranny of numbers. The dominance of certain ethnic blocs in the electoral process presents an existential threat to the country because it is blind to minority interests. We have seen how legislation and policies can be tailored to serve the interests of that critical majority at the expense of minority rights and needs. This can happen in parliamentary votes. Majority community controlling the vote that determines the president and possibly number of seats, enabling them to do as they wish in doling out token appointments and other favors without substantial input or resistance from the minority parties. Devolution was meant to address this problem of the tyranny of the majority. Yet, at the counties where devolution was centered, they too ended up with a second layer of tyranny. The governor would be elected by the local majority, sub-tribe or tribe, and the devolved unit ends up doing exactly what is being done at the national level. The constitutional mandate of creating county governments to ensure more localized governance and greater representation of diverse communities is rendered useless. Protection of minority rights and promotion of inclusivity as envisaged are trashed at the altar of political expediency. Constitutional safeguards have not been useful in pushing back the challenge of the tyranny of the majority because of a clear lack of the will to do so. Ethnic favoritism can still influence political appointments and resource allocation. The deputy president has been persistent in his shares in government narrative for his community. He also has been pushing for the one man, one vote, one shilling agenda as a policy drive to secure more resources for the majority.